the raging debate economically that my wife and I have is I always say, do we really need another marketing major, going to school, taking on debt and just coming out with no expertise? Don't we need more computer scientists and engineers and people? Well, the market already sort of sets a price because your graduating salary, if you were going into nuclear engineering or you were going into hardcore material science or you were going into CRISPR for biotech, would be much higher than if you were coming out with like just a liberal arts degree or some, marketing degree. And so you're already sort of a subprime credit if you're pursuing the latter. And so I've made the argument, why not lend just like we used to, during the last housing crisis, there was prime credits based on, your likelihood to pay and subprime credits. Why not, based on the major that you're electing to choose to pursue, have lower borrowing rates? So you might be a better credit if you were pursuing computer science over the past 10 years and you should borrow 1 or 2%. Well, that would lower the cost of access of capital. It would increase the number of people that were potentially applying for it. And over time, it would end up increasing the supply of labor, which would then bring down the price and wages in the marketplace. And so you'd have a natural sort of, filtering function, just letting the market based on salaries dictate where there was need. 5 years ago, 4 years ago, insane demand for artificial intelligence researchers. People that had come out of the nuclear winter and deep learning and convolutional neural nets were suddenly the hottest in demand. And somebody that was making $50,000 or less as a postdoc was suddenly being offered $500,000 to $1 million at Google and Facebook. And so that was just insane. And it created a scarcity of labor, which was a signal to the market. And now, every computer science program is like, flooding the zone with future AI researchers at a time when it will probably bring down all the wages. And then, the next area that's totally scarce will become, the hot demand. Same thing in an area, where you're an expert in crypto, right? Anytime there's this sort of information arbitrage and ignorance, and that's reflected in the prices of wages of labor, I think it's a signal. And so if you want to redirect where useful resources of humanity goes, prices today are still the best way that we have to signal that to the masses.